If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button as well as the bell to be notified of future videos. Thank you.
Hallo internet, greetings, dag sê. Lekker dat julle hier by ons kom kuier. Thank you for paying us a visit. Yeah, you got me again today. Few stories I'm going to tell you today. If not, why not? So I'm going to show you a photo a little bit after this. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit of what led up to this photo. Okay, so here goes photo. Yes, that is me sitting on a dune in a good old Port Elizabeth in early 1981. I know why it was early. It was the second month of 81. It may have even been on my birthday, which I do think it was. Now look at the attire and look what's happening there. The attire being tropical, subtropical, holiday type mode. I was in a holiday type mood because I had decided I was going to be leaving the Air Force. So this was me in my wannabe hippie phase. And a long story short, suddenly there was contract obligations looming, and suddenly this was happening and that was happening. So as this was February, I could skip the first 2 weeks of varsity. I wanted to go to university. I had a few rand stashed away. I also got a nice back pay lump sum check, just more or less in the December period of 1980, as I got to 6th Squadron Port Elizabeth. Anyway, this was taken, and you see I'm doing a cheat job here. I'm going from the box of happiness straight into a bubbly bottle. No names mentioned. I have camouflaged the labels so that you can't guess. But this is what I was doing because it was easier to carry a bubbly bottle around, which I had emptied. That's why I know it was my birthday, because it was a bubbly bottle I had bought for myself for my birthday. Anyway, this is now getting boring, isn't it? Sorry, I had an itch there. So what did I do in my wannabe hippie days? I've always loved music, always loved collecting LPs where the money was available. I did. So the wannabe hippie scene, I had a few friends that were at you could say they were involved with the hippie era, and they came around in the towards the end, the stragglers of the hippie era. So the late 60s, early 70s, and then this was sort of, as I said, early 80s. So this was still dragging on there. Okay, I'm talking far too much. But what has that got to do with today's video? Well, simple. There were certain LPs that any aspiring wannabe hippie had to have in his collection or her collection. If you wanted to be a wannabe Janis Joplin, surely you had to have some of her music too. But I didn't want to be a wannabe Janis Joplin. I just wanted to be a wannabe hippie. Beach bum, actually. That's what I really wanted to be. Finances, on the other hand. Okay, so I'm going to now start discussing a few LPs that you must have been part and parcel of your collection. Otherwise, you couldn't be classed as a wannabe hippie music-wise, that is. So let's start here with the first 3. I've got them right here, and I'm going to show you the first 3. There we go. You recognize that? Huh? You think so? Second one. You light up my what? That one? Huh? No, I had to delve deep and hard for these. These come out of my wife's collection. They may have been her mother's, but yeah, that's as far as you're gonna go. Yeah, now you're gonna get right here. You're gonna get that famous record scratch sound now. Okay, now let's start talking about real wannabe EPL albums. That if you didn't have these or some of these, you couldn't class yourself as said wannabe hippie. Right, where do we begin? I've just grabbed a handful. There are more you can add. Feel free in the comments below. Tell me what you needed in your collection. Maybe you didn't want to be hippie, but you wanted to be part of the cool scene musically, or you just wanted to be cool. So if you had these, others would have thought, he knows a bit about the bit. Intellectual. Me and intellectual don't go in the same book, never mind in the same library. We just don't fit. Anyway, I'm going to start off. Stop talking nonsense. Peter Sarsted. This contains them all, yes. The very best of Peter Sarsted, as you can see there. Frozen orange juice. Where do you go to my lovely? I'm a Cathedral Boulevard. So yeah, there's take of. Oh yes, frozen orange juice. Once upon an everyday, and then of course take off your clothes. Let me see. This was banned. So if you had it in your collection, you could go to jail. Yeah, it was banned for that song. So I had it, and a long story. But in any case, there we go. That's number one. Wannabe hippie song LP number one. Okay, I've just grabbed this. You can see this. You would know which one this is, would you? There we go. Gatefold. Just representative of Pink Floyd. You could grab any of their initial up until The Wall. There were a few semi type of compilation stuff after. Battersea Power Station, I believe, and the Floating Pig. I think one of those things sold not too long ago. Anyway, there we go. Pink Floyd. Had to have Pink Floyd in. Now, you could have, as I say, you could have had any of these earlier ones in. I just grabbed Animals because it often gets overlooked in favor of Wish You Were Here or Dark Side of the Moon or even The Wall. The Wall was 79, early 80. Anyway, there we go. Pink Floyd. You had to have Pink Floyd. You also had to have this lad. As I call him, Sir Bob, Nobel Prize winner for literature. Then he can be knighted as well. I wonder if old Charlie will consider doing so. I was really hoping the Queen would. Sorry about the reflections. I'm trying to get them not to. There you go, Desire. Or you could have grabbed a whole range of his earlier stuff too. And or Joanne Byers, her stuff too. So we include Mr. Dylan, Sir Bob. Okay. Now, this lady, some say she was Queen of Punk, New York Queen of Punk. This particular LP, hairy armpits and all, Easter. Yeah, if you didn't have it, you weren't classed as intellectual. There's a song or two on here that I am still going to play on the podcast. Promise you. Promise you. All right. The next one, Lee Clayton. I have a few of his LPs, but Lee Clayton, Naked Child. Solly, courtesy of you. Courtesy of you. There we go. This too. It's not quite cerebral stuff, but terrific music on here. Really, really, really stepping out on this one. So there we go. That's that one, and I need to fix the cover. All right. Then there's a sort of a more melodic type of element. Sean Williams, just an old-fashioned love song. I think this was called. Yep, just an old-fashioned love song. Sean Williams. No, sorry. It's not Sean Williams. It's Paul Williams. Where do I come with Sean Williams? And I almost said John Williams too, but this is Paul Williams. Just an old-fashioned, great piano stuff on here. Great melodic type of. You had to have it. One that I can mention here, with this in this sort of era of record. There's a few more coming up, but no, I've got I hit a blank there. I'll have to pull it out for you and show you. But I didn't want to because I wanted to include that in the box sets when I do a box set chat about that. Okay, so I'm not going to say anything more. Keith Jarrett, that's who I'm on about. Keith Jarrett. Cool Concert and a variety of others. All right. Now this man, you had to have him. You have to have him. This one tells a particular story for me. So somewhere along the line, I suddenly had 2 copies of Henry VIII, and I couldn't find this copy of my Journey to the Center of the Earth. But because this is such a great piece of storytelling and music and all sorts together, I wanted to record this for my grandchildren so that they could listen in the car, because they both in a dance studio, two of the many grandchildren, and they do things like Matilda, and they're busy with another one at the moment, and all sorts. So they want to, when they forever want to watch these songs from, but I've said to them, Rick Wakeman, once you know the story, you love the music too, because it's rock and it's operatic and it's all sorts. And there's a story. So yeah, Mr. Wakeman, you're going to get that on that. Or you're going to get all of these, every single one of them at some point. Some have been on the podcast, and you're going to get some more on the podcast. Okay. Do I have to say much more about that? Do I? I think I've told you the story about first having possession of a tape of this for my car right there in 79, when it came out more or less in SA. And I was quite popular for a short period of time there because everybody wanted to hear it. But it was only because of the music, not because of me. So there we go. You want to be hippie, late tail era, want to be hippie, you have to have this. All right, then no Wannabe hippie would be as such without this man. And this is sort of a comeback album, I believe. And he'd been off stage for quite a while until Pete Townsend grabbed him and dragged him, or Steve Winwood, one of the two, Rainbow Concert, and they dragged Clapton out of his hibernation, and he was hiding. And this came not long after that, and there's some terrific cuts on here. So Mr. Clapton, yes, he's a must. I wish I could play more of certain of these artists, but I have to be balanced when I do the podcast. All right, this simply because it was our theme. A lot of us went by Bad Go, Running with a Pack, and all those kinds of tunes, but Bad Company was it. It was our anthem, one of our many anthems. So there you have that one. Okay, I'm getting to the point now where it's almost. No, I still have 4 or 5 to talk about. This one, Mike Batts, Schizophrenia. You needed this because you needed to talk about long songs and what he was trying to do with this and what he achieved with this. He didn't only what he was trying to do. This is what he achieved. Great music on here too. And this particularly has fond memories for many veterans of that age. They know exactly why. I don't have to mention the Ride to Agadir. That was modified by many to be their theme song. Okay, this was one of those guys that you had to have. This is second contribution. I've got one or two of his others as well, but we choose this one because it stood out for this cape. And that image, the front and the rear image, 12-string Gibson, there we go. Sean Phillips, second contribution. Okay, we getting to one now that if you're South African and you didn't have this, then there was definitely something wrong with you. Rodriguez, Cold Fact. This had a few cuts on it too that were popular with the censors. Very, very popular. I Wonder. You remember I Wonder? Sugar Man. Yeah. Crucify Your Mind. There's plenty on here. I Wonder that will stick out massively. There you have it. Cold Fact. Okay. And now on to one that I hunted high and low for. Magna Carta, Lord of the Ages. There's a terrific bit of artwork. And then there's also the music. Great English folk music on here that sort of can go into progressive folk, maybe the rock, soft rock, whatever you want to call it. There you have Magna Carta. Love it. Absolutely love it. Right now, first, if you're a South African and you didn't have this, there was something wrong with you. You couldn't be classed as a intellectual, wannabe hippie type if you didn't have this. Trying to get it to focus. Yeah, there we go. High Octane. Finch and Henson. Some lads they were. Some lads they were. Anyway, they were my friends. Well, I'd like to think that they did remember me vaguely when they allowed me in to the Keg and Tankers in Pretoria. I had free pass there every Sunday night while these guys played there because I had a chance meeting somewhere with Brian Finch, and we got chatting about music and a variety of things. And I had short hair and he took pity on me and he said, yeah, you lot with short hair, I know what you do, but you can come and enjoy the music. Sunday night, great music. When they were resident at the Keg and Tankard. Then Capital Parks or wherever, Hillbrow. I don't know, not Hillbrow, in Pretoria. Pretoria, what was that? Whatever it was called. There you go. And last but not least, I think everybody had this, but I didn't really want to dig this one out because this is a triple. Yeah, this is a triple. There is another double that came out. You just recognize that. I don't have to even tell you what it is, who it is. It's over more than 50 years old, this particular copy of mine. Have I had it that long? Not quite, but I did get it somewhere along the line and it was brand new when I bought it. Okay, there you have it. There you have my interpretation of Wannabe Hippie. I must just place them such that they don't all go crashing down now before I put them away again in their sleeves, their plastic sleeves, and also in their place in the press. So I welcome your feedback. I welcome your comments, and I welcome your take on some of these, and also feel free to leave me a suggestion or three. That was it. I think for when this comes out, sort of mid-May-ish, the Wednesday it'll screen on Legacy Conversation, I think around the 10th. So that's the first third of the month. That Friday after, I think I'm going to take a cut of every single one of those LPs and include it in the podcast. So be sure to notice that the link for the podcast is down the bottom here, and click in there. And I would love you to listen to the podcasts on Fridays or Saturdays or Sundays. Each Friday, a fresh one comes out, and we always chat about legacy conversations and what's happening on the channel coming up more or less in that period of time. And we give specific lads who have left comments, we give them a shout, and we mention 3-2 Battalion, which in there, one of their favorite LPs, and 3-1 Battalion. I could have either of that wrong. I'm not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head, but the Right to Agadir, Mike Pat's you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so there's a lot of these LPs that were from that era that many of our veterans would relate to. So please feel free to leave me a comment. And until we talk again or chat again, if you want to come and tell your story, there's the email address. Contact us and we'll set up something for you to come and tell your story. And up until that point, up until we chat again, I say thank you for the support. Bye bye, donkey. And until we talk again, God bless.